I'm in the middle of creating a movie collection system. What I've got so far is the ability to represent a movie in code. So I can create a variable like my movie, and my movie can have inside it a title, an ID, and a length. And I can interact with those individually. I've created functions to represent or to read a movie from the user, to print it out to the user, and to create a little menu where the user can update the movie and update information in the movie. But if we look at our goal, what we want is to create a collection of 100 movies. So now I need to think about, how do I go about structuring the data to represent that part of this problem? And that's where I can use this idea. What I want to be able to do is create a variable, which is something my collection here. Each of these should have a size, know how many elements or how many movies are in this collection, and we'll then have up to 100 movies, or we will have 100 movies in memory at the time. So this lets us use our array here. So we'll have 100 movies. Remember, arrays at the moment are fixed size. So that means this will always have 100 movies in it. But this size variable here will tell me how many of those 100 movies actually have sensible data values in them, and how many are yet to be used to store an actual movie. All right, so each of the elements will be accessed inside the array, and we'll know the number of elements. Each individual element will work the same as we did before. We're able to access the title, the ID, and the length of it to read and to write to those values, as we saw before with structs. So, how do I go about creating this now? In our code, we have our movie data here. So underneath that, what I could do is create the definition for this struct. So this is going to be just like our movie data struct, but now what we want is to have a size field and a movies field. So in here I can do struct, and I say this will be a movie collection, and each movie collection will have inside it a size, which is our integer, and it will have movie data, which we'll call movies, and that will have up to 100 values. Now, whenever we type a number, we should know, okay, well that's a meaningful number. Let's make it a constant. So const int, and I'll call it max movies, and that's 100. And come down here, now that will be max movies. There we go. So we now have this modeled inside that struct. It doesn't exist in memory at the moment, but the potential to create any number of these exists. Each one, whenever we create a variable of movie collection type, it will have a size and 100 movies that we can access. So down in main now, what I can do here is I can create my movie collection, my collection. My collection now has the ability to have 100 movies in it. So down here, I was reading in a movie into my movie. What I could do instead is I could go my collection, and inside that, I've got access to movies. That's these values here. So I could do dot movies. I could get the first movie, and I could make that, or I could read a movie into that value. So that would give me the ability to read a value into that movies array. And we could also print that movie out. So I could then do print movie. Which movie? Well, I've got my collection of movies. So that is all of this data. That's not a movie, that's a collection of movies. It has a size and a movies array. So from that, I need to get the movies, and I need to pick one of them. So I'll have the first one, and there we go. So I can then read, and I could print that out. We could also update that as well. We'll come back and play with those later. All right, so now I have my movies collection. If I compile and run that, I can now update that the same as I did before. And that reads those values in. So what have we done now? We've done the same as what we did before. We've read all of those values into that movie. This has then been returned from the read movie function, and we have stored it into my collection movies at index 0. So that's here. And so this would be ET with an ID of 1 and a length of 1.27, and that would be accessed there. At the moment, we haven't actually updated the size, so we probably should do that. If we've added that in, we can now update the size. So here I can say my collection dot size equals 1. So now we've indicated that to store a value 1 in here. And we can use that to represent how many movies in here have a valid value. All right, what I want you to have a go at now, have a go at creating your own collection of the data type that you created. So whatever if you've done books or bike races or whatever you've done, create your collection, determine how many of those you want, and then just play with it a little bit down here to see that you can read in a value into it, see that you can access the values out of your array. And then in the next video, what we'll have a look at is creating a more usable function to actually perform these adding movies in and printing them out. All right, look forward to seeing you soon.